I, of course, have been keeping tabs of what's going on with Disney and the further developments of that, their beef kind of with Florida and its government and the clash that's certainly happening there. You can go reference those previous videos if you want to check those out, as well as the shows and different segments that we've talked about. But I just want to give people certainly a reminder of certainly what it is that we're dealing with here, because I think a lot of people get it twisted. Okay. If you look at, let's say, someone that has a general following and you see a response on their social media. Well, let's say this. If they post about what's going on with Disney and like it's in a manner of, okay, this is a good thing, or even if they're mildly neutral, you would get those sorts of weirdos who would then come on and say things. I had a tweet that I responded to that was later deleted by a guy, for example, that was like, well, he's listing all of these different things that basically Disney owns, and he's saying, well, you need Disney. And I just want to give you guys a quick reminder that you don't need any of these companies for that matter. Disney, of all the mega corporations, I have to keep reminding you guys of this. Of all the mega corporate entities, Disney is the one that is the easiest to remove, because Disney does not control anything that you need. Everything that they have is just of entertainment value. So it's useful. And I'm not saying it's not, like, entertainment in itself isn't important or that it's not useful. I'm just saying that as far as like being required to function culturally, or being required to like it's not your food, they don't control your what you eat, what you drink, or anything. They don't have, like, at best, if you live maybe in that area and you work for Disney, there's some business efforts that may contribute to it. But aside from that, none of us need Disney. Like, you don't need Disney. It's just an entertainment thing. And if they faded into obscurity, it would be all good. It would be all good. I promise you that it would be all good. But I want to remind you guys why people are like that. You have to understand status quo. Status quo is the thing. You have those that protect the status quo that, of course, look at it like, well, Disney now is taking the side of the people that they think are their, well, they consider us political enemies. Let's say that, right? And I think a lot of them agree. This is why they're so spiteful. The people that like the MCU shields and those types of guys, so spiteful. They love to do things because they think that it does in some cases get under the skin of people that they deem as their social political enemies. So that's fine for them. They look at it like, well, people are attracted to something it is that we, and by we I'm meaning them, control. So they control this entity that a lot of folks look up to that may be their political enemies, whether it be like, Disney is in control of certain properties that you grew up on or whatever it is. They're like, well, you guys are forced to look at us, listen to us. And now we have this company who's been pimped, and they are going to do our bidding. So protecting that status quo is so very important to them, and I don't want you guys to lose sight of that. So when I say that they're not needed, I'm not saying that they aren't impactful. I'm not saying that they aren't culturally relevant. I'm not saying any of that. I am just saying that it is a net positive in the event that they go, but also reminding you to respect yourself as a customer and have some certain dignity. But those guys want to protect the status quo, and I do think, to be fair, there's a side of this, though I don't think it's as significant as the petty side and the spiteful side, that even in the event, like for them, they love to see Disney turn it around. Remember the segments I did a couple of weeks where I said, I don't give a shit. Like, if this company got burnt into the ground to the point where they had to release some of their assets, that's a positive. Some of the things that they control, that's a great thing. That to me is awesome. If there was to be a point where they got to, well, it's no longer lucrative for us to maintain ownership of this. I welcome that. I've said before, look, if we talk about this parallel economy, you guys have to understand, if we get what it is that we want with the parallel economy, it is going to be a lot of uncertainty, certainly in the market, but it's going to be a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people ain't going to get in where they fit in because they don't fit. And that's going to look different for a lot of people. Status quo right now is it's comfortable, right? You know what to expect. So whether you hate or love Disney, you know exactly what to expect. And some, you get what it is that I'm saying. Like, you look up to it. And so for even a lot of folks that are against what's happening with Disney, the direction that Disney is going, they would still prefer that they turn the ship. Okay. They would still prefer that. Me personally, I don't give a shit. If I think it's a net positive if they don't turn the ship and they run it into the ground, because at minimum, one can hope that someone can get control of those assets that, I don't know, have passion and actually care. But you don't need Disney. Who says you need Disney? Perceived legitimacy is all they have. You hear me say that all the time. But understand, the people that have deemed you as their political enemies are going to try to certainly speak this type of stuff into existence. We have already covered what's happening right now with let's say the stock. If you guys have been keeping up the stock with Disney, or shares in terms of what they're representing in comparison to the rest of the market is it's not as low as it's ever been, but it's as low as it's been, I think, in a year. So that's something that's worthwhile and something worth paying attention to. And I remember Brian Stelter, that crackhead on Mr. Potato, is more of a potato head than a crackhead. I guess you could be a potato crackhead. Well, he's whatever that is. And he was like, well, right-wing media is taking it to Disney and going after Disney, when essentially all that he's saying is that, oh, hell, I have it right here. I forgot about it. It's right here. See if we can.
I invest in Invesco.
All right, let me get the ad to go through. But as you see right here, CNN Business said Disney investors aren't having as awful a year as Netflix shareholders, but that's not saying much. Title of the magic is gone for Disney investors. Disney's not in a good spot right now, just period. Let's see what Brian Stelter had to say.
Targeting Mickey Mouse. In the United States, we're seeing a theme of the midterm elections emerging. It's the way you can see a wave start to form far from shore before it breaks on the beach. The theme, the talking point on the right, is about protecting kids from the dangers of the Walt Disney Company.
What?
Really. But Disney is just a stand-in. It's just a symbol for something bigger. A conservative backlash to growing acceptance of gay and transgender people. A conservative fear that traditional
I'm not
beliefs are
listening to
being
this guy sit and straw man everybody's position. No. Look, they're scared, okay? They are fucking terrified. I don't know what else to say other than that. They're terrified. They're terrified at the idea that the power that they hold is going to be severely limited. Look, it's been like pulling teeth. Trust me, I've been trying to do it to both libertarians and, definitely as I work with the Blaze, trying to get these cons, right, who don't understand the value of entertainment in itself and the importance of it. This whole, well, I'll say a quirky line or something, I'll outwit them. I'll prove exactly how their argument is so bad. And they think that alone is owning the libs, and it's often not, because you're dealing with stupid, irrational people. They don't care about looking stupid. What they care about, however, is the legitimacy that it is that a lot of us give them. So, because folks focus so much on that stuff, they neglect the cultural aspect, which is all the left really has right now. If you really wanted to own them, you do stuff like defund Disney. You do stuff like defund some of the things that, basically most of the things that they control entertainment-wise, as leftists anyway. Your brands are done and dead. We need to have more stuff rise from the ashes that have the updated economic model, and also, aren't owned by people that hate them or hate you. That's preferable. They're scared that shit catches on. They're scared. They're terrified. So they're going to make and conjure up whatever narrative it is that they can to try to make sense of it, because they know any event that the people within this, like even in America, right? I understand these guys have international markets as well. But even in America, especially in America, if the people that have been pissed on, shat on, disrespected, they've likened you to Nazis, they've called you every name in the book and treated you with the utmost disrespect, and then got in control of these entities so they can then use it to do the same thing because they're so spiteful. If the people of this country that they target in that aspect said, you know what, we're just simply not going to fund you anymore. We don't have to. If that catches on, they're done. The difference is that there's still folks on one side that don't understand it, or the multitude of non-leftist sides that don't understand that. Whereas to the left, they're greatly aware of that. So they're going to protect it, keep it close to them as much as they possibly can, because they're done once it's done. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Cannon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.